Hello, welcome to Africa Focus tonight. My name is Robert Biomugabe. First, I have to say I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled from the deepest better part of the bottom of my heart to have the opportunity to interact with you about the African continent. We are always here to discuss pertinent issues across the African continent. And today, permit me to tackle a crucial topic that has been mushrooming across the continent. This is the integrity of university degrees in Africa. You know, it's not common to see a toad running during broad daylight. Otherwise, one must know that there is something chasing that frog. The African body is really breeding. However, this is caused by the fake systems of administration. Africa, the continent with 54 countries, lines drawn across it. One cannot really believe how things are being done. We have fake systems of education that at the end, in the so-called graduation, they honor individuals with degrees of deception. The last time I checked, the misuse of honorary degrees and outright forgery is more widespread than most Africans can imagine. Research according to the war of fake degrees and PhDs reveals that these degrees are not earned through years of coursework and academic research. Instead, they are both degrees. There is a dangerous confusion between symbolic recognition and academic merit. Here, we are not talking about rocket science. We are talking about real life realities. This is empirical, on the ground. It is not really to shame individuals, but to push institutions and public to rethink and measure merit. Regulatory bodies have totally failed. The so-called education regulatory bodies have run shortage of supervision experience. In fact, one can also believe that those in these regulatory bodies also have some individuals who attained fake qualifications based on academic. One cannot always lament about the fake systems in Africa, but the obsession with titles rather than tangible skill has created a dangerous ecosystem where paper trumps performance. People are buying degrees because the system rewards status and not substance. In a way that one does not need to publish his or her research or engage in academic debate. You just need a title, and that title in most African countries opens many closed doors for you. That reality has pushed many to pursue shortcuts to boost their CVs and cement their status. This actually reminds me of one of Nelson Madiba Mandela's inspiration quote, where he said, "Education is a key to success. But in real sense, are we being educated, or we are just hunting for scripts?" Meanwhile, these students or scholars who spend years in academic trenches are forced to compete with those who have got fake degrees. A fake PhD crisis is not just about inflated egos or vanity. It's about the erosion of public trust. If we cannot trust someone's academic credentials, how can we trust their decisions, their leadership, or their influence on policy and public life? What is needed now is not only about academic integrity, but what we desire is about redefining what we value in public leadership. Someone with questionable academic credentials should not be accepted to participate in competing for a public service position. The crisis of forged academic credentials is now erupting time and again in a public view. In one of the African countries in the year of 2024, recorded very many cases with a total of 69 cases. And these people were competing with those who had acquired academic qualifications in competing for government payroll. This is a case in point with secondary school teachers. it is said that also very many billions of money are being mishandled through paying shadow workers or the so-called ghost workers. What is really needed today in Africa, we don't need to see what is put on paper. It is not about the song being sung, but who is singing that particular tune. A PhD as a certificate and qualification does nothing unless it moves society from one level lower to the next level by the shortest possible magnitude. The philosophy of education is in expertise in a subject that transforms society. If someone gets a PhD in a ministry, we do really expect great innovation in that particular ministry. PhD in political science should help in governance issues, especially in the buying and selling of votes, and votes in the name of democracy. PhD in surgery means no patient will get out of that theater worse than they went in there. Sometimes I ask myself a question and find it difficult to get an answer. Christ, who heals the sick and raises the dead, there is no single record that shows us that he went to school. He is not a PhD or degree holder, but he did great things on earth. Ignorance is the enemy of progress. And not until we exercise the ghost of ignorance, Africa and the education system will never make strides. No doubt, when we got independence across the African countries, we really thought that we had received the right revolutionary ring, but instead we are in the so-called revolutionary foolishness. A continent that does not produce what it consumes, but consumes what it does not produce. We are dreaming on borrowed dreams and reading from wrong scripts. I remain Robert Mugabe. I shall see you next week.